All right, I'm pressing the button to record. Are we recording? Is going. Okay.
Hey everybody, I'm Dana Sundet, and this is my friend.
Robin Driscoll.
We are the Oboe
Doctors. We're not really doctors. We play one on the internet.
But we've always wanted to be.
That's right. We feel we're doctors.
Yes, because everybody comes to us every time something's wrong. We have to fix it. Anyway, this is super fun to work with you, Robin. And today we're going to tackle a topic that you've been telling me about. Tell me about these grommets.
Grommets? We're going to use these to make reeds?
Okay, hello guys. Today we're going to talk about a new little tool that we use to help young oboe players who are learning to make reeds for the first time in wrapping. Because it's a bit hard to keep your fingers organized for that because there's a lot to hold on to. And this acts as a pair of helping hands for that process. So what we will do is when you first start making your reeds as a new oboe player, you're probably going to buy a shaped cane already. And that'll look like this. Now you'll see, however, this may look a little different than what you have, and I have little ears on the top, which is a remnant of shaping. But a lot of times when you buy a shaped cane, they cut that off for you ahead of time. So the important thing in shaping, which is the critical part of making reeds, is that the one blade has to be slightly enveloped inside the other. So you can see the back blade on the left-hand side when you look straight down at the reed this way. And that gives you an edge meeting a surface. And that gives you a better seal. It's almost impossible to have an edge meeting an edge the whole way up. So this way you have the edge of the shape touching the inside gouged surface on the back piece on both sides. And you want to make sure that it's not enveloped. You don't want one blade inside the other, but you want it offset so the bottom blade is seen on the left. So we got that set here. I can actually see the cane inserted on one side there. And I take my little squishy grommet, which is this guy here. It's a little piece of tubing, and it's really squishy. And you stick the small end of the shaped piece of cane into the opening of the grommet, and I'm making sure my overlap is set correctly. And then once that's done that way, I take my fingernails and I pull the grommet up towards the top of the piece of cane, and making sure that I do still have the blade set correctly. Now you'll notice that if it's a shaped piece of cane with ears, I'm just below the ears. But if the ears are gone, it'll be roughly 3/8 of an inch down from the top. Okay, now once that's set, I will put the staple inside there. Now the staple, as you look at your staple, you'll see that the big end at the end is round, and the other end at the top is oval shaped, or like an ellipse. And your handle has the same flat surface on both sides that's in line with the ellipse at the end of the mandrel. So when you put your staple inside there, this surface here shows you the angle of the end of the staple. So I will take some string. I'm going to wrap it up now. Take about, I don't know, a yard of length. Take some beeswax and I run it through the string. This is silk string, double F strength. You can use nylon, but I prefer silk because it doesn't stretch. So I run about 5 passes of the string through the wax, then tie it into my little hook here with 3 half hitches. Take up the slack and then pull slightly to set the knot. So then I take my piece of cane and I insert the staple into it, and you see the grommet holds the piece of cane on there. It doesn't fall off, and so I can actually manipulate things without having to hold on to the grommet. So I'm sighting down the mandrel here, this flat surface, and I can see that compared to the end fold of the cane. And I want that fold to be rotated slightly clockwise. So if you imagine the face of a clock down here, you see if it's totally flat, it's 9 and 3. I have it set so it's at about 9:30 and 3:30. So when I clip the reed at the end, then what happens is the blades shift back this way, and they fall back to be totally plumb with the end of the reed, and it's in the same plane. So in wrapping, I wrap it it's about 73 millimeters long with my particular shape, and I'm going to get up pretty close to the end of the staple, about 3 winds down. I want to make sure that the opening here is the same as the opening over here, and that tells me I'm in the middle of the staple. Let me move a little bit down here. And now that I have that set, it looks like it's about the same distance. Yes, it does. And I will now wrap 2 more winds. So I have 3 winds total. And I see that the blades close pretty evenly. And if I look at when I pull the string tightly, you can see the seal close up on both sides. And you want it to seal at the same time. If one side seals first before the other, that means the piece of cane is not really in the center of the staple. So I want to move it towards the side where the opening still exists. And so when it closes at the same rate on both sides, here and here, then I know that we're in the middle. So once that's set, and I'm at the end of the staple, which is 47 millimeters, and you can check this quickly by rolling the string a bit. And I'm holding the string here in my hand, but it's still under pressure here. So still tight on both sides. Take my ruler, and I can measure, and I'm a little bit, yeah, this is about 72. Let's pick a piece of reed here. But 72, 73, depending upon your shape, is what you look for. And so now I'm at the end, and I will cross over those 3 winds I just did, and I'll make another wind. And before I wrap down to close off the reed, I'm going to make sure I'm plumb with the center, which and I am indeed. And I will now proceed wrapping the winds down towards the cork, making sure to keep them side by side so that it's no miswinds, no gaps, because that'll be an area where you could have some leaks. And so I stop just below the cork position and make a knot. I go around my thumb for my knot. There's all kinds of knots you could do, but this is a fun one. You go around my thumb, around the reed, and I'm holding the string down here with my fingers. And I'm going to go up that hole, and then I go down the new hole we just made, and then pull it tight. So put my thumb out, go around the reed. I have a hole, I'm holding the string. I go up that hole. Now I have a new hole that's created. I go down that hole and pull it until it's tight. All right, so now when cutting the string, always cut the outside first, because this is where you keep tension on both sides, and it's easier to cut the string when it's under tension. And this is still under tension. Okay, now once that is cut, I'm going to spin the string between my fingers, and that's going to work the beeswax into the string to help with the seal. And the beeswax also helps keep the string in place when you're wrapping. It makes it a little bit sticky, so it sticks to the cane as you're wrapping. All right, so now I have the grommet on here still, and I need to use my teeth to get this off. And it's very soft, so it's very easy to do. Put it in my mouth, put my teeth behind the grommet, and just work it forward, and it comes right off. And then I store it back on the mandrel like that, so I won't lose it. Okay, now with my reed, I have ears still up here from my shaping process. I have to take those off. Now you might not, like I said, have ears on your piece of cane. So we'll take off the ears, and you can feel as you go up the shape with the knife, you're kind of skidding on the side because the knife is in an angle that's almost parallel to the reed. And so as soon as you hit the ears, you're going to feel it grab it. And so I'm going to pop it off like that once it grabs, and I'm going to keep going over it, slightly raising the angle of the knife until I can feel that there's no grabs all the way up. A little bit there, okay. Now, once that's done, it's important to sand it. Now, if you don't have ears initially, this is a part you're still going to want to do. So take your sanding board, take the reed and keep it in the same line as the sanding board, and just sand the top portion of the reed so that it meets up with the shape below it. And it's going to be pretty parallel at this point up here, so you can just imagine filing parallel in both sides. And to check this, you can look down the reed like it's a barrel of a rifle and see that the piece of cane is either going straight or whatever. And you can also see if there's any ears up there because it compresses the curve by having it down at an angle like this. And so I see there's no ears up there, so I'm ready to go. And to get ready for this, I will now scrape the ends of the reed just enough to thin it some so I can clip it without it cracking and without having to use a whole lot of effort. Okay. So now it's clipped. Now this is now a double reed because it was first a single reed folded over. So now I've clipped it open and the 2 independent blades, and then I will shift the overlap with my fingers by pushing my thumb this way and pulling back with my finger. And there's a little bit of a little click there. So, and that's how you do it.
What is the definition of a half step?
I don't know. What?
Two oboes playing in unison.